So you're probably wondering why your people resist change, and I know they do because there is a lot of surveys out there that tell us that. For example, the latest IBM Global study on making change work, published last year, indicated to us that 66% of all change initiatives do not deliver on what they promised. In fact, 15% fail altogether. Why is that? Well, it appears that the main reason is that people aren't prepared to change their mindsets, or maybe they don't even do that. So what's your role in changing people's mindsets so they'll embrace the change? I think managers make two major mistakes in bringing about change in their organisation. The first one is that they underestimate the power of history. And the second one is that they underestimate just how long it's going to take to rewire the new behaviours. Let me explain to that. Let me tell you how that happens by taking you to, for example, you're riding along in your car and you hear a song come on the radio and you're singing along to the song and you think, wow, how do I remember all those words? It's years and years and years since I heard that song. Well, the way that the brain lays down these neural pathways, it's a bit like walking through a wheat field. You start at one side and the first time you go through, you pick your way through, probably not much of a path, but then you come back and then you'll go back, and the more times you go back, the deeper the pathway becomes, so that eventually you'll be able to find your way through that wheat field just by automatic, just by looking at the path. Of course, sometimes if you're going to go running through that wheat field because there's a bear following you or someone with a knife, you're going to create a much deeper path much faster. Why is that important? Well, our brains like shortcuts. They like triggers to know how we behave in certain situations. So the neural pathways are set down so that we can remember and do things very quickly. The problem is that when it comes to implementing change in your organisation, some of those triggers set off those neural pathways that cause us to absolutely reel back in horror and resist change. For example, have you ever had your boss say to you, I need to see you now, we need to actually think about restructuring? What happens in your brain? My guess is the neural pathway has been triggered, one that might be associated with very bad memories when that word has been used before. Bit like if you see a flashing blue light when you're driving along in the car, I bet you immediately put your foot on the brake, even though you weren't doing anything wrong. History is hardwired into our brain to make life easier for us, but as managers, as leaders, sometimes we forget that. So the other thing that we forget too is that we don't understand and remember how long it takes to create that neural pathway and to rewire our brains so that we get our people to change their behaviours. Let me give you a 3-step model to actually try and address this problem. First one, you must always address the reasons for the change. Now, a lot of people I speak to say, well, I've done that, I sent out lots of communication. But you know what? I still have people telling me they don't understand the business case for change. They need to know, why is the organisation doing it? What if it doesn't? What's in it for them, of course, but what does that mean? Is there an alternative way? Are the competitors doing it? Will my job get slashed? Will I get reduced salary? Will it take more work? You know that list. They're all the logical reasons for change which you need to address. That's R. The second step I suggest you think about is I, implications. Think about what the implications of the change that you're bringing about will have for the people that you're trying to convince. Social implications, of course. Emotional implications, definitely. For example, does the restructure, let's stay with that example, does that impact on their career prospect? Does it impact on their salary prospect? Does it impact on the team that they have around them that they're used to working with? What are the implications that will actually need to be addressed in order to get them on board? And the third thing that you need to remember is V for values. Are the changes that you're asking people to make aligned with their values set? For example, if you've employed someone as a customer service operator and now you tell them they have to upsell as well, that may just not be congruent with the way they want to live their lives. So, why do people resist change? Power of history, time taken to rewire, remember, reasons, implications, values.